And it's time for Free Speech Friday, when we get a couple of free thinking, free talking people in, and we cheer over the events of the week. I've got to say, we're slightly underprepared for this. Yesterday was just a nightmare trying to set the show up. But I got two great people for Free Speech Friday. Our good friend, sometimes announcer, Tina Nixon from over in the Rapper. How are you, Tina?
I'm bloody good, Sean.
Good. And Alistair Boyce, the host with the most, from the backbencher. Boyce, have you got a whole lot of new, fresh-faced MPs coming over? Are you giving them special new MP deals and discounts or not?
No, we can't afford to give discounts anymore, Sean. We're in the real world. They earn enough money, Sean, to pay full price. No problem, okay?
All right. Do you have some tab system with the political parties? Just put it on the ACT Party tab. Well,
no, they'd probably never pay. Or if they're on the left of the spectrum, they'd want the taxpayer to pay.
Oh, in their quinoa salad, for their quinoa salad. Well, look, guys,
I've had quinoa going for a while.
It's like waiting for bloody Godot, but we are, Tina, we've got to be there today. Well, we're told we're going to be there today. There was an announcement that there's going to be an announcement. Look, despite all...
And then there's another announcement. There's two announcements.
What's the other?
What's that about?
I've missed the second announcement.
So apparently they're announcing the announcement around the government. Then there is another announcement later around the ministers. So there's two separate announcements, is what I understood this morning.
Oh, God, I wonder who the Minister of Announcements is going to be. Alistair, all the journalists, instead of doing the smart thing and parking themselves up at your pub for the last 40 days, can you imagine a more soul-destroying job than hanging around outside the Quarters Hotel with your e-scooter, making stuff up for the newspaper and the radio, Alistair?
Yeah, it's pretty pathetic. I feel a bit sorry for the journalists, but you can't feel that sorry for them because their left-wing agenda and their continual undermining or ignoring, like Winston in particular, for so long, and then the way they go about trying humiliating tactics on Seymour and Luxon especially, and anyone else they see in their firing line. I mean, they deserve everything they get, to be honest.
Tina, do you feel at all sorry for the news media?
No. I've done the odd doorstep in my time, and it's just part of the job, you know. And I'm with Boise, where I'm sort of over the left-wing bullshit that we've had for so long, and it'll be really interesting if there's a change of tack. I did listen to the state radio this morning, and it's changed its tenor. It's quite interesting. It's softened. It's almost sort of late Radio Gaga at the moment. It's lost that heavy, cynical bent that it's had. So maybe they see the writing on the wall and a change of direction.
Or maybe, given how much money... Did you see how much money Paul Thompson, their chief executive, is earning?
Yeah.
It suddenly was at $700,000 a year, and he got a $60,000 or a 16% bonus, even though he didn't make target for listenership. Exactly. But he did put in the Kumbaya statement and increase the customers, the staff satisfaction. And so it sounds like because he put in all of this lovely stuff. And he kept the audio recording of Kerry Allen's rant at her girlfriend's farewell. He kept that secret too, so that was pretty good.
No, and it'll be really interesting to see how National handles that. I can see a big cut to their funding.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that happens.
Yeah. Boise, are we going to get, and this is vital to your business, we're going to get a flurry of activity. We're going to get a parliamentary sitting before the end of the year, aren't we?
I hope so. Wellington really needs a boost. So it's in the doldrums at the moment. There are people coming back in, trying to safeguard their jobs in the public sector, but overall the private sector of Wellington, especially the CBD, is just totally in the doldrums.
Well, the cruise ships are back, Boise. You know,
well, the cruise ships, they don't give us a lot of business, to be honest. They're mainly tourists. We don't get a lot of food and beverage out of them because
they can
packages on the boats.
That's right. They can eat in the salmonella dish that is the ship's galley, can't they?
Yeah, so they come in and they have snacks and one beer if you're lucky, and so they really take up a lot of infrastructure. And according to the environmentalists, they're not that good for the planet, you know.
All right, look, I
and
think
New Zealanders tend not to go to the cities either in that Christmas time.
Yeah.
And I noticed when I was on Stewart Island the other day, it's a lot of international tourists. And Queenstown, I was also in Queenstown, same thing. Queenstown is absolutely going off.
Yeah.
Are they saying that the international tourists are back in Queenstown to pre-COVID levels? And you can just tell, and it's a nightmare. So it took us 32 minutes to get from Frankton to Queenstown CBD.
Wow. Their traffic. They actually have massive infrastructure.
Experience.
They have infrastructure problems down there. I always like the idea
Road Cone City.
Yeah, I like the idea of getting away from it. Boise, I was thinking, and I've been jokingly saying, to try and reinvigorate Central Wellington, when they start laying people off at the public service, their criteria should be how many days have you actually spent in the office? That would get them all scurrying onto the units and onto the buses and back into bloody town, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, the ones that don't go to work, surely it should be the first ones off. They've got a massive confrontation to come with the public sector.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be immediate, and it's going to be ongoing because the public sector haven't performed for 6 years.
Yeah.
The outcomes are not there. They couldn't even perform for a benign Labor government that treated them with kid gloves.
Yeah.
That State Service Commission with Peter Hughes was an absolute disaster for this country.
You agree, Tina?
Oh, look, I've never been a Peter Hughes fan, and State Services Commission, I just have absolutely no truck with them. I think they're just a waste of time and a waste of space. And you know, they're sort of watching the watchers, but they're not doing anything. But what people don't understand is there's actually been a lot of prep work being done by some key government departments. They see the writing on the wall, and remember that Labor was going to start cutting the public service too, so they're all ready to go.
Yeah.
So it'll be, and they actually, you know, there's an interesting problem here, is because they're going to almost need to stage it if they are going to do some wholesale cuts. Because if they do it all in one big lot, there will be chaos.
Yeah, but I mean,
so
some people,
need to be
I understand. I understand the head of Foreign Affairs is leaving. Chris Watts, isn't it?
Yeah, I've heard a couple of others that are definitely thinking about it.
Paul Hunt, the Human Rights Commission, if he's got any brains, he'll go back to Britain because that's got to go.
And some government departments who are quite left, and you know, the ones that are in charge of the environment, they were mourning when they realised that their day was done. And I think that's actually really disrespectful to the incoming government, because there are some people who are deeply concerned with the environment in the new regime, but they're more, they've got a much more sort of common sense focus to it. So I think that to think that we're suddenly going to turn New Zealand into a shit heap just because we're not going to look after the environment is just really silly stuff.
All right. Now, guys, let's do we'll have a quick break, and then I want to do who do you think's got what, and we can talk about it afterwards, see how right we were.